Story about a kind girl in the village. A long time ago, there was a little girl named Rose, who lived in a small village with her family. Rose was a kind and loving child who loved to spend time with her family and friends. She enjoyed playing in the fields and picking flowers. One day, as she was walking in the fields, she noticed a small bird lying on the ground. The bird looked weak and injured. Rose knew that she had to help. She gently picked up the bird and brought it home. Her family was surprised to see the bird and immediately offered to help. They examined the bird and realized that it had a broken wing. They made a small nest for it and gave it food and water. Rose was overjoyed to see the bird getting better day by day. She spent hours talking to it and singing songs. She named the bird Hope because she believed that it would recover soon. Weeks passed, and Hope started to regain its strength. Rose knew that it was time to release the bird back into the field. She was sad to see it go, but she knew that it was the right thing to do. As she released Hope, it flew away, but before it left, it turned around and looked at Rose, as if saying goodbye. Rose knew that she had made a new friend, and that hope would always be a part of her life. From that day on, Rose became more aware of the wildlife around her. She started to take care of the animals and the environment. She knew that even the smallest act of kindness could make a big difference in the world. Part 2. Rose turned into a kind girl. Years later, Rose grew up to be a kind and compassionate girl who made the world a better place. She never forgot the lessons she learned from her little friend Hope and continued to spread kindness wherever she went. Rose was known for her kindness toward everyone she met. She went out of her way to help those in need and always had a smile on her face. One day, Rose heard that her neighbor, Mrs. Smith, had fallen ill and was unable to take care of herself. Without hesitation, Rose went over to Mrs. Smith's house to offer her help. She cooked her meals, cleaned her house, and even sat with her, reading her stories to keep her company. Mrs. Smith was touched by Rose's kindness and grateful for her help. She had never met anyone like Rose before. Rose continued to visit Mrs. Smith every day and did everything she could to make her feel better. One day, Rose noticed that the kids in the village were not attending school. She found out that their parents were unable to afford the school fees. Rose knew how important education was and how it could change their lives for the better. She decided to do something about it. Rose started a fundraiser to help the kids pay for their school fees. She went door to door explaining her cause and asking for donations. Within a few days, Rose had collected enough money to pay for the school fees for all the kids in the village. The parents were overjoyed, and the kids were happy to be back in school. Rose had made a huge difference in their lives. and had given them hope for a better future. Rose's kindness and generosity did not go unnoticed. The people in the village started to look up to her and were inspired by her actions. They started to follow her example and do kind things for each other. Rose's kind heart had started a chain reaction of kindness. Chapter number 2. Jordan and the Giant. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jordan who lived in a small village at the foot of a mountain. Jordan was a curious boy who loved to explore the world around him. One day, while walking in the forest, he stumbled upon a magic seed. Without thinking twice, he planted the seed in his backyard. To his surprise, the seed grew overnight into a giant beanstalk that reached up to the clouds. Without hesitation, Jordan climbed up the beanstalk, and to his amazement, he found a huge castle in the sky. The castle belonged to an evil giant who scared the village below. Brave Jordan decided to fight the giant and save his village. He sneaked into the castle and stole the giant's treasure, including a golden bell and a duck that laid golden eggs. The giant woke up and chased after Jordan, but Jordan managed to climb down the beanstalk and cut it down, causing the giant to fall to his death. Jordan returned to his village with the golden bell and the duck that laid golden eggs, and his village was saved from the giant's terror. From that day on, Jordan became known as a hero, and his bravery and quick thinking were celebrated by all. Jordan lived with his mother, who was a single parent, and his little sister, Lily. They lived a simple but happy life. Jordan's father had passed away when he was very young, so he had taken on the responsibility of looking after his family. One day, while playing with his friends, Jordan heard a loud cry for help. He followed the sound and found an old man lying on the ground, injured and unable to move. The man explained that he had fallen from a nearby cliff and had been lying there for hours, unable to move. Without hesitation, Jordan lifted the old man onto his back and carried him all the way back to the village. He didn't stop until he had taken the man to the local doctor and ensured that he was receiving the medical attention he needed. Word of Jordan's bravery and quick thinking spread throughout the village, and everyone praised him for his act. Jordan didn't seek any recognition or reward. He was just happy that he was able to help someone in need. From that day on, Jordan became known as the bravest boy in the village, and his bravery inspired many others to be brave too. He continued to go on many adventures, exploring the fields and forests around the village, and always keeping an eye out for anyone who might need his help. Jordan knew that bravery wasn't just about being fearless. It was about facing your fears and doing what was right, even when it was hard. He lived by this motto every day and became a legend in his village, known for his bravery and his kind heart.